Hi artists, we are going to practice some watercolor techniques. When you are getting set up for your watercolor, you're going to need your watercolor tray. Make sure that the top part here is wiped out, nice and fresh. You should be doing that at the end of each day. You're going to need your brushes. You're going to need a little bit of water. I always say don't fill it too much because you don't want it to spill. And then you definitely need a piece of paper towel or a napkin, something that you can quickly use to blot up if you need to. Okay. Now, the first part we're going to do here is color values. So we're going to make our colors lighter and darker by adding more water to our color mixtures. Okay, so I say think of this as Kool-Aid or lemonade when you're mixing in that powder with the water. The more you put into that water, the more flavorful your drink is. The less you put in, the more diluted and tasteless it is. So it's kind of the same with your colors. The more we put into our mixture here, the more vibrant our colors are, and the less we put of our color into our water mixture, the less vibrant it is. So I'm just gonna start by putting a couple of dots of water into my lid right here. Now I don't need a lot because this is a very small area that I'm working with. So always consider that. If you're mixing a color for a big area, then you're gonna want to make it more. Okay, now you're gonna choose one color out of your tray here. I would stay away from the light yellow. That's not gonna give you the contrast that you're gonna look for. And I'm gonna go first with just this violet. I'm gonna wet my brush, put a little bit on there, then I'm gonna swirl that into my water mixture. And it should just subtly change your color. Okay. Now I'm gonna paint the oval that says light. I'm gonna get around my edges. And you have several brushes to choose from. You wanna choose the one that's most appropriate for your size of the part you're painting, but without being too large that it's gonna go out of your edges. Okay, so that's how I make my light one. Now to darken this up, I'm gonna wet my brush again. Using that same color, I'm gonna rub more pigment onto my brush. I'm gonna mix right into that color, and I can see that it definitely got darker. Now sometimes it looks a lot darker in that puddle than it does on your paper, but we're not looking for a huge jump in values. I'm looking for just a subtle change here. Okay, I'm practicing going around neatly. I'm holding my paintbrush like a pencil. Okay, my fingers are down close to the metal part. Okay, I'm not holding it from the end because then I don't have much control over it. So walk your fingers down to the end. I'm gonna paint that in. Okay, and then I'm gonna make this darker. Now, very few instances are you actually going to be painting right out of these concentrated pigments. You're gonna be making a watery mixture. Because when we paint out of there, a couple of things happen. One, it gets too opaque. It gets very sticky, and it doesn't ever really dry. And that's not what we want. We don't want that tacky, glossy look. We want it to feel light. We want it to feel translucent. Okay, we don't ever want it to feel opaque. Okay, that's not the look of watercolor. Okay, if we were going for that look, we would use the acrylic paint or even the tempera paint. Okay, so when you finish this step, you should have a very distinct dark, medium, and light value of just one color.